In one of my articles, I call this man the Macron of the Balkans. He's indeed an unusual politician. There are not many like him in the Balkans. I did not notice a trace of chauvinism, not a trace of nationalism. I saw courage, and it's not by chance that, together with another unusual politician, the Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, they were able to find the solution to the Macedonian name dispute, and the country is now called Republic of North Macedonia. It is my privilege to welcome the Prime Minister of North Macedonia, Zoran Zaev.
I'm really glad to be your guest. We have indeed become a big media theme, not only in the Balkans, in Southeast Europe, but the whole of Europe. I thank you for the nice words you said about me. Sometimes I think it's because I'm a left-wing politician, just like Alexis Tsipras is a leftist, that we succeeded to reach such an agreement. But we had a similar agreement before with Bulgaria, although the Prime Minister there is right-wing. So what is common among us is obviously believing in the European future, this wish, this love of Europe, which dominates in our characters, in our thoughts, and then the nationalist thoughts, which probably exist everywhere, take the back seat, and the pro-European thoughts take precedence. We want to be united in Europe because, at the end of the day, this is what the young people are expecting from us.
I mentioned Macron, but it's precisely him who is not in a hurry with enlargement. What do you think?
Probably French President Macron, who is a great pro-European politician, because of the internal debates they have in France, and I know something about internal debates. I am aware of how his opponent Marine Le Pen uses these debates. Probably he is convinced that Europe needs to reform and also become more attractive to us as candidate countries for EU membership. In Sofia, at the Western Balkan Summit, I talked to President Macron. I reminded him that Macedonia has been a candidate country since 2005. Since 2009, the Commission recommends starting accession negotiations. I told him, let Europe reform in parallel, and we can even help you by giving the example of European ways to find solutions to problems. But at the same time, Macedonia can start accession negotiations. We don't ask to become immediately EU members. We would like to be given the chance to conduct negotiations for the full membership to the EU, remembering that there were countries that conducted accession negotiations but did not become EU members, such as the Nordic countries. But in this respect, President Macron probably could not stay unmoved by the big solution we found between Macedonia and Greece, which overcomes the identity divisions and finds the solutions by recognizing a Macedonian people with Hellenic ancestry and a Macedonian people without Hellenic ancestry. And besides, to make the distinction in geographical terms of something which is based on facts, we are the northern part of that historic Macedonia. Bulgaria has the eastern part, Greece has the southern part, and even Albania has a part of it. That's a fact. I know how difficult the solution is. It's difficult for me, it's difficult for my people, but the European aspiration and the duty towards the future generations is too big.
I wonder, was this compromise good? I mean, your country will not start accession negotiations immediately, but only next year after the European elections. Was it a good compromise, or?
For us, it's not something new or something different, if you're aware of the following facts. Montenegro started accession talks 7.5 months after the decision of the European Council. Serbia started negotiations 9.5 months after the summit decision. In our case, it will be 12 months. But we are aware that there will be European elections. Some time will be lost there. And we have a referendum in Macedonia as part of the implementation of our agreement with Greece. And we are aware that there will be a screening process and time for drafting the negotiations framework. I think this has been carefully calculated so that we will be well prepared from June 2019 to start opening accession chapters.
But the opposition is likely to make it difficult for you. VMRO-DPMNE don't like the agreement.
The opposition are not very clear among themselves. They are against changing the constitution, but they say they are for NATO and for EU accession. There is therefore a contradiction. If we are for NATO and the EU, we should be ready to compromise. In the beginning, I also wished that there would be no need to change the constitution. But with the power of arguments during the talks, it became clear that such a position would create new problems. We want to finish with problems once and forever, so that we could build friendly relations and conclude agreements for the benefit of our two countries and of our two peoples, and this is why this compromise was made. Greece got the name erga omnes, we got erga omnes identity. At the same time, the identity of Macedonians living in Greece is guaranteed. This is clearly set.
Do you hope that the European People's Party will show more understanding for your positions? Let's be frank, they're trying to help Gruevski.
The center-right EPP party is close to its sister parties, and I can understand that. But there is another aspect. It's about the European spirit. And I speak and find understanding with many of their representatives, with Boyko Borisov and other prime ministers and high officials who are for the agreement and for the speedy integration of Macedonia into NATO and in the EU. I believe they do everything they can to encourage the center-right parties in Macedonia and in Greece. Those center-right parties in Macedonia and in Greece are very similar. They both make noise, organize protests, they use bad language, the same in Greece as in Macedonia, the same tactics. But if you ask them, in Greece, do you want to have friendly relations with your northern neighbor? They say yes. When you ask them if a solution is needed, they say yes. And in Macedonia, when you ask them, they say we need good relations with Greece. And they say NATO and the EU are strategic goals. Well, how would this be possible without an agreement? Anyway, it's sometimes the job of the opposition to be so critical. But I believe that there is no other way to achieve the goals of NATO and EU membership. This is happening now, and I'm convinced that common sense, the love of the fatherland, the perspectives of Macedonia will also prevail with the opposition.
Љубовта кон татковината, перспективите на Македонија, кај нас исто така ќе превладат и кај опозицијата.
We speak just as the EU summit ended, and it was a difficult one. How does the EU look to you? Aren't there too many divisions and conflicts?
This is why I'm saying that when we are in, we will help them.
Fair enough, I wish you success, and thank you for this interview.
And I thank you a lot.